What is going on, guys? It is Tyson Brown here, and today I'm going to be talking to you about how you can make sure you're still gaining or keeping your muscle when you're trying to lose fat. And there are three big important things we want to talk about. Now, the first thing is the most important, and it's nutrition. When it comes to nutrition, you need to make sure you're consuming enough protein during the day. And in order to make sure you eat enough protein during the day, the best thing to do is to get your body weight in kilograms and you times it by 2.2 kilos, just to be in the safe range. You can go from 2 to 2.2, but I like to say if you go on the upper range, you're gonna make sure you are getting enough, all right? So if you're 70 kilos, 70 times 2 is 140 grams of protein a day. That's what you want to be aiming for. 2.2, it's going to be a little bit more, okay? But that's going to be a good estimate for you to stay around, because then you know that you're not going to be preventing muscle loss and you're going to be still being able to even potentially gain muscle, right? Now, when it comes to that too, so you need to make sure, okay, so whatever kilos you are, and then you times that by 2, if you're getting 140 grams, if you're 70 kilo male, whatever it's going to be, then you've got to think about where is that protein going to come from, because 170 grams of protein is not 170 grams of chicken. Chicken's not pure protein. 100 grams of chicken's only got about 22 grams of protein in it, so you're gonna need to eat a fair bit of that, right? So how are you gonna get more and more protein in? Well, one thing I recommend is making sure every single meal you're actually consuming enough protein. Another way, protein shakes. I'm not a big advocate of protein shakes, but they are a convenient source if you're on the go, if you're on the run, or honestly, if you're just not gonna have time to cook food, then having a protein shake is one good way to be able to make sure you're getting in more protein. Making sure you're training with weights at least 3 times a week is gonna be one of the best things you guys can do when it comes to preventing losing muscle mass too. So when you think about doing weight training, you don't want to think about burning calories. You want to think about this is the time where you're going to stimulate muscle to prevent muscle breakdown, to make sure you're maintaining lean muscle, and to actually try and help you grow at the same time too. So think about this. You need to be making sure you're training at least 3 to 4 times a week, doing big compound movements like standing shoulder press, like chin-ups, like bent over rows, like lying bench press, squats, deadlifts. All those big key movements are going to require a lot of muscle, because when you're pushing yourself and you're doing this actually tells your body, like your body's like, wow, I'm going to need this muscle, so I don't want to lose it. And that's one of the best things you can do. So tip number 2 is to make sure that you're weight training at least 3 to 4 times a week. Another common mistake people do is that they lose weight too fast, and that is a huge problem, because if you lose weight too fast, you are going to be losing muscle mass. There's only so much fat you're actually able to lose at a time, so you want to make sure you're doing it in a smart way. And the smartest thing for you guys to be able to do when it comes to losing fat is making sure that you're focusing on maybe losing, I think about 1% of your body weight a week is going to be ideal, okay? So if you think about this, if you're, let's say, example again, you're 70 kilos, so 1%, you'd want to lose about 700 grams maximum a week. You don't want to be looking for 1 kilo, 2 kilo, 3 kilo losses in a week. Even though it will happen with a little bit of water, you can't think that's sustainable, because that's going to be way too much for your body, and honestly it's not sustainable. It's not very, very healthy, and you are going to lose that lean muscle mass too. So that's a big problem. So always aim for about, roughly for most people, it'd be half a kilo to a kilo a week would be an ideal thing. You wouldn't want much more than that unless you're very, very overweight, okay? But they're gonna be the best 3 things for you to do to make sure you're preserving that lean muscle mass when you're trying to lose body fat. So number 1, making sure you're consuming at least 2 grams to 2.2 grams of kilogram per body weight. So 70 kilos times 2 grams is, let's say, 140 grams for the average person, okay? Number 2 is to make sure that you're doing weight training at least 3 to 4 times a week to make sure you're keeping the muscle mass, maintaining it, and even trying to potentially grow new muscle. And the third thing is to make sure that you're not dropping weight too quickly. Make sure when you step on that scale, it's not dropping, you're not trying to drop 1 kilo, 2 kilos, 3 kilos at a time. Like, I know a lot of people, we want to get that as a result, we want to get it as fast as possible, but you can't just be slamming yourself, trying to restrict yourself from the amount of food you're going to be eating, because it's going to be so detrimental to you in the long run. And I promise you, it's going to be harder for you to actually gain muscle in the future, because now you have to work all the way back from where you were. So guys, that is the end of the video, and before I go, I just want to share with you this quick thing. Make sure you download my 5 free Busy Man breakfasts. All these breakfasts take under 5 minutes to make in the morning, so if you're someone who's short on time and you need something quick, they're going to be the best things for you. I'm Tyson Brown, and I'll speak to you next time.